Tips to give you a highly effective interview. I recently got to sit in on some interviews and help my client decide who the best fit was for their open position. Well, it came down to two candidates, and one of them was leaps and bounds better than the other. So I'm going to give you some examples of what we talked about in the interview and how that made it so much easier to select the person that we decided to go with. The first thing that I like to do is just give them some open prompts to just talk about whatever it is that they want to talk about. Hey, how was your weekend? What hobbies do you have? And just get them talking. People who are interviewing for a position can often be nervous, and I want to make that personal connection with them so that they feel comfortable talking with me and just being honest. Once they have a little bit of comfort and feel better about talking with me, then we can kind of get into the interview process a little bit. But when I'm asking them about their hobbies or what they did for the weekend, you can get some really interesting information. You know, oh, I went tubing this weekend and man, I got so drunk I didn't know what to do. Okay, good to know. Or, hey, I volunteered at a Special Olympics event on this past Saturday and it was really great to see the kids succeed. Okay. Good information on both fronts. Thank you for sharing. The next thing that I like to do is if I'm looking for a specific skill set in a position when I'm hiring, I want to ask a question about that skill set and how the interviewee has demonstrated that in their current position. So let me give you an example. This current interview that I just sat in on, we were looking for somebody who is very detail oriented because of the forms and procedures that this position called for. So I didn't tell the person who was interviewing that, but I just asked the question. I said, in your current role, do you have anything to do with forms or really detailed procedures? And they said, actually, yes, I do. And I said, can you explain what that looks like in your current role? And this person went into great detail about the forms that they had to do, how they were required by the government, and all of these other things. And I was like, this is great information, because sometimes when people are interviewing, they know what you're asking for, so they'll play to what you're asking for. So I don't give them that feedback. I just say, you know, tell me about this in your current role, so they think they're talking about themselves, but what they're really doing is giving you a ton of information about what they do and what you're looking for. Another thing that I like to do is play to the owner's strength. So in this interview, I was sitting directly next to the owner, and I asked the person, hey, if I could give you a blank check to buy any one of these products that this business sells, which one would you buy and why would you buy that product? And this person who was interviewing went into great detail about one specific product that they would buy, why they would buy it, and they talked about all the things that they knew about this product because that was their dream product. And I was like, oh, that's really good information. What I was also doing was I was allowing the owner to listen to the person and how much expertise they had in the product even before they've been trained. So a little bit of sneakiness on my part, but it gave a great example for the interviewee to explain and express something without being under pressure of having to perform and say, oh, do I really know this thing? Yeah, of course you really knew it because I gave you a blank check to describe it. The owner, on the other hand, thought that was a great way to see the background knowledge that this person brought to the job even before they've been hired or trained. Another thing I do is give scenario-based questions. Now, I know a lot of employers do this. It's very common. It gives you a way to see into how they handle situations. And so that's exactly what I did. I laid out a scenario that had recently gone wrong at this business and asked them to explain how they would handle it. So they gave their explanation and it was fine. And then I said, well, how did you process that? What was your mindset going through your response? And some people say, well, why would you do that if they've just given you the answer? Well, what I'm looking for is what is their mindset? How do they process problems? Because certain people will have a solution-oriented mindset where they are going to find a solution to a problem, and other people kind of get stuck on the problem and they don't know what to do. So I wanted to see, is this person going to respond and act in a problem and find a good solution, or are they just going to come up against the problem and then stop? So when I ask these questions, I don't really care as much about the answer as I do about the process that the person is going through in their mind and their mindset coming to the solution. I help leaders, business owners, and leaders of organizations find solutions to their problems every single day. If you have found this helpful, please give me a like and subscribe and reach out to me because I hope I can help you with your business and any issues you are having.